Okay. Before we start, does anyone have any questions right off the bat or anything that you're not sure about? And if you could just type your questions in the chat, and that way I can quickly answer them. If things pop up as I'm going through this as well, questions, go ahead and put those in the chat, and I will answer them as soon as I see them. But before I proceed on, at this point, does anyone have any questions right off the bat that I can address? Okay. So again, if you're able to, at your computer, go ahead and open Google Chrome. If you don't have Chrome downloaded on your computer, you can use another browser in the meantime. But we do recommend that you download Chrome. It's free and it's the most compatible with our software for Kaiser. So if you get a chance at some point this weekend prior to starting classes, just go ahead and download Chrome if you don't have it already. Okay, so kaiseruniversity.edu, and once you have that pulled up, you want to bookmark it as well so that you've got it easily saved right on your computer. This is where you're going to go for the login links to all of your Kaiser student accounts. So at the top here, where you have this kind of horizontal menu, underneath each one is a drop-down menu. So you're going to go to students, and when you hover over students, a drop-down menu will appear, and that is going to be what you go to access the login for your email, for your Blackboard, and all of that. So I'm going to go ahead and open that in the next screen. Okay, so this is what it looks like when you hover over the drop-down menu and see those login links. So go ahead on your computer in Chrome. Again, go to kaiseruniversity.edu, and then under students, if you could go ahead and click on student email to get to that email login screen. And as you're doing that, I'm just going to go over just a couple of the key points that you should be aware of prior to the term starting. So the first tasks that you have to complete at the start of every new class are the course certification, which is just you're certifying that you agree to academic honesty. The course pretest, which does not count for your grade, so it's not going to hurt you in any way. It's just to sort of measure where you are prior to starting the class. And then there's an introduction discussion board post. Definitely you'll have that if you're taking an online class. If you're taking an on-ground class on campus, you may not have that, but you'll be in the classroom, and the instructor will kind of go around and have you introduce yourselves and introduce themselves to you. So so those are the three things that you can count on at the beginning of every class to be something that you're responsible for. Your class is going to be available in Blackboard on the Sunday evening prior to the term start. So you're not going to, we're going to log into Blackboard today, but you won't see your class yet. You won't see it until Sunday evening at some point. So when you do get access, you want to make sure that you log in, look at your syllabus, look at your instructor's information, kind of review the information. However, don't do any of the tasks that are here, either the pretest, the certification. You want to make sure not to do any of those until it's actually Monday. And the reason why is because it won't count. Basically, it will not register in the system that you did anything, because it doesn't start logging that activity until Monday when the term starts. So on Sunday, you just want to review whatever is in your class Blackboard, but don't submit any work. But on Monday, that's when you want to go in and complete those three tasks before you start anything else for the class. And then for logging in, you're going to be using the same email and password combination for all of your logins. The email, your username is going to be your Kaiser student email address. and your password is set by default to your student ID number. So you're just going to use that combination to log into your email, Blackboard, student portal, the library databases, and all of those things. If you don't have your student ID number and or your student email address, just let me know and I will privately message it to you. And then so that you're able to get in there today as we are going through this. If you can't follow along with the steps, by the way, today, at the moment, this is being recorded and you guys will get a copy of it. So just before Monday, make sure that you go in and that you can log in and everything. Okay, so Nicole, I will look yours up and get that to you in just a couple of minutes. Okay, so you guys, once you click on student email, it's going to bring you to your login screen, and that's going to be where you enter your email address and your password. The first time that you log in, it's going to take you through the two-step authentication process setup, where it's going to ask you to, put in your phone number, and then it'll send you a code via text message, and it'll ask you for that to verify your identity. But go ahead and just take a couple of minutes to log in with your email address and your student ID and go through that text message verification process while I look up this information quickly. And again, if you have any questions that come up as we're going through this, just go ahead and put those in the chat. Okay, so I just sent that to you, Nicole. So let me know that you got that and or that it's working as you try to log in. Is anyone else having any difficulties or anything? Okay, perfect. So one thing to be aware of is that your passwords do expire every 60 days, I believe. By default, it's set to your student ID number, and what we recommend a lot of students do is when it comes time to change it, you can keep it as your student ID number, but maybe add like a lowercase letter or special character at the end of it. For example, some students will add like a lowercase a and an exclamation mark. And then that way, when you have to change your password once it expires, every couple of months, you don't have to keep coming up with a bunch of new passwords. You're just changing the character at the end of it. So that's one thing to keep in mind. The other thing to be aware of is that you're using, again, as I said before, you're using this same combination to log into everything. So if you're logging into Blackboard and it won't let you log in, it tells you your password's expired or whatever the case may be, and you have to reset it. You do have to reset it through Microsoft Office, which is the login screen that we're on now. So you're not able to reset it through Blackboard. It's a master reset and it's done through Office 365. So just kind of be aware of that as well. Okay, so once you log into your email, it's going to bring you to this Office 365 dashboard. Your email is going to be in the Outlook app, which if you click on it, it's going to bring you to your inbox, which is going to look like this, which is, pretty standard email inbox. The rest of the apps that are shown here are the online versions of Microsoft Office programs. So we have Microsoft Word Online, Excel, PowerPoint, Teams. Those are the ones that are on this particular screen. I think that there's more options on the actual dashboard as well. But the online versions are good if you are just wanting to do something quickly, or if you want to work online while you're out and about and you're not able to save things on the computer that you're using, because then you can just save it to your Office kind of cloud. But you do want to get the full programs because they have more features and functionality that you'll need throughout your classes. Kaiser provides you access to Microsoft Office for free for as long as you're a student. So all you have to do is, and we recommend doing this, sometime this weekend prior to Monday. If you click on this Install Office button, it's going to download those programs right onto your computer, and then you just click on it and your computer will automatically install them. So once you download them, it just takes a few minutes to install, and then you'll have access to those for as long as you're a student. So make sure this weekend at some point to download those programs. I mentioned earlier that your email is going to be where you get all of your communication from Kaiser. So whether it is an email from your instructor, an announcement from the campus president or the dean, financial aid information, student services, whatever it is that you're getting via email, it's always going to go to your Kaiser student email. So you want to make sure to check your email at least once per day at the minimum. Ideally, you would check it a couple of times a day. Some students have Outlook on their phone, and so your email can go right to your phone. I believe there's a way that you can set up email forwarding as well, so you can forward it to your personal email. But just make sure that you're checking your Kaiser student email so that you don't miss anything important that you need to know. Satina, how do I access Office 360? My screen looks different. Are you able to take a screenshot or what is it that you're seeing that's different on your screen? And let me go ahead and unmute you.
What happened is I log into Blackboard, but I think you're currently on student email. Or should I just go ahead and log into the student portal?
So we haven't gotten to the portal yet. We're going to be logging into all three, but right now we are still on the email. So if you're in Blackboard,
okay.
Yeah, you can keep that open in another tab.
Blackboard.
Okay, yeah, no problem. I'll
Okay,
go back a couple of screens to show you how to get to Office. Okay. So Satina, when you're on that kaiseruniversity.edu website, underneath students, instead of clicking Blackboard, just click on student email. And it's going to bring you to your login screen. I think this one pops up first, and then it'll take you to the next screen where you'll enter your password. And then that will get you to this dashboard. And then once you're here, you're just going to click on Outlook to get to where we are on this screen. So yeah, so again, so Kaiser student email is going to be where you get all of your communication. And if you lose access to your account at any point, either the password expires and it won't let you reset it, or you've reset it but you've forgotten what it was, or whatever the case may be, make sure to reach out as soon as possible. You can reach out to me, you can reach out to Sal in the library, you can reach out to your instructor or your academic advisor, and they can help you get that password reset and get you back into your account. So you want to make sure that you do that as soon as possible so that you don't lose access and that you're still able to maintain communication, with Kaiser. You can obviously email from an alternate email if you can't access your student email, but you don't want to get in the habit of using your personal email for communication, just because it's not on our network. So messages might not get through, they might get blocked, that kind of thing. So to make sure that you're not missing anything, again, you can obviously use your personal email if you have to, but you don't want to get into that habit. So you want to make sure to reach out if you can't get in for whatever reason. Okay, does anybody have any questions about student email, Microsoft Office, or anything that we've covered so far? Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and move on to the student portal. So you can either open a new window or go back to wherever you previously were before. But go back to kaiseruniversity.edu. And then underneath that students drop-down menu, you're going to select student portal. You would just click login, which is going to pop up on, I think, on the right-hand side of the screen. And then you have to click where it says student portal homepage, not where it says student login, because this is going to be what takes you to the login page. This is what the login page looks like. Once again, your username is going to be your Kaiser student email address, and your password is going to be your student ID number, and that's what you're going to use to log in. So go ahead and take a couple of minutes to get to that point. And as you're getting there, just a few notes on the student portal. Your student portal is, I think I mentioned before, it's where you have all of your kind of housekeeping things, your documentation. So like, your student schedule is going to be in there. You can view your upcoming classes as well as download a copy of your schedule. And I'll show you how to do both of those things in just a couple of minutes. But you can also check your financial aid documents. You can check your transcripts, your final grades. Once you've taken a couple of classes, grades from those previous classes will be in the student portal. You can also do a degree audit, which is when you run an audit to see what classes you've already taken and what you still need to take in order to complete your program. So you get to kind of figure out how much progress you've made versus how much time you still have left. There's also information on scholarships, VA, if you're part of VA, loan opportunities, things like that through the student portal. Yeah, so that's going to be where you go for all of your housekeeping documentation stuff. Once you log in, your home screen is going to look something like this. And then along the side here is where you're going to have all of those links to access your documents. Yours might not look exactly like this one because as new students, there might be some things that aren't set up yet or that aren't available. But everything that you need, will eventually be put in your student portal when you need it. I'm going to go ahead and show you how to access a copy of your schedule. So on the main screen, there's only 2 rows on my screen, but I think there's 3 on yours. So the middle row here, you're just going to click on My Schedule. And that's going to take you to where you can download the PDF of your schedule. So click on Schedule Report, and then it's going to download at the bottom of the screen if you're in Chrome. If you're in Edge, I think it might go to a folder or something. I'm not really sure. Just check your downloads folder. But once you have that PDF downloaded onto your computer, you can then print it out. You can save it to your phone, to your tablet. If you want to send a copy to anyone else who might need it, such as your work, if you have to work around, your school and job schedule, things like that. So that's where you can get that information. And then you can also view your classes or your upcoming class right here on the website itself. So right underneath where it says schedule report, you should see something that says view by term. So what you're going to do is just put in the upcoming term. This example says summer C, but you would just put in we're coming up on fall C. And then once you're in that class and you're kind of at the end of that class, then you would select fall D to see the term after that to see what you're registered for. You want to make sure that view by list is what is showing as the option there, because that's going to bring up this particular view where everything is just laid out right there. So you got your course title and the code, the start and end date, how many credits the course is worth, the schedule, the instructor, and then any secondary instructors or co-teachers that you have. So for example, the student's class is going to be Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday from 9 to 2 for 3 credits, and it runs for the whole term. So a 4-week period, and those dates are there. We want you to make sure that you know how to check your upcoming class, because you want to make sure that your schedule is good to go. Most of the time it is, but there might be an error at some point. For example, if you have maybe transferred in classes and something has gone in for like credits you've transferred in for a math class, for example, but you're registered for that math class the next term, you want to make sure to catch those things so that you can get your schedule fixed before the next term actually starts. So try to get into the habit the last week of your current class to check your upcoming schedule for the next class that you'll be in to make sure that everything is good to go. And if there are any mistakes that need to be fixed, you would see the registrar. You can also talk to your academic advisor / program director, your instructor, and they can get you to where you need to go to fix that schedule. And again, 9 times out of 10, your schedule is fine, but in the one case that it's not, you just want to make sure to take care of that before the new term starts. Any questions on the student portal? And by the way, I think I mentioned earlier to bookmark kaiseruniversity.edu, but you might want to, as we're logging into these things, or as you're, exploring over the weekend on, your different accounts, when we get into those programs, you might want to directly save, bookmark those links as well. So like, for example, if you bookmark the student portal where we are right now, the next time that you go to this site on your computer, it'll bring you right to the student portal login screen as opposed to kaiseruniversity.edu. So it's a good idea to save those websites as well so that you just have them ready and available. Any questions so far? Okay. So we're going to go ahead and go into Blackboard. So again, in a new tab or a new window, if you want to go back and start over in the same tab, just go back to kaiseruniversity.edu. And underneath the current students drop-down menu, go ahead and select Blackboard. That is going to bring you to, I can't remember if it's a new tab or a new window, but the screen is going to look like where you just came from. But you want to make sure that you just go to the, I think this is on the left-hand side of the screen, and click undergraduate school login. And that will get you to the actual login screen where you're going to enter your credentials. And once again, your credentials are your student email address as the username, and your student ID number as the password. And then you're going to go ahead and sign in. I think the first time that you log into Blackboard, like the screen is like a welcome screen. Just scroll all the way to the bottom, and there should be an option to say get started or something like that. That'll bring you into your dashboard. So I'll give you guys a couple, just a minute or so to get logged into Blackboard. Okay, so once you get logged in and you pass the welcome screen, that's only going to come up the very first time that you log into Blackboard, and then you won't see it again. You will see a screen that looks like this, where you've got the main part. Here is your dashboard. You've got messages from the chancellor and resources and things like that. There is a menu along the left-hand side that you'll use to navigate through Blackboard. The main one that you're going to be using is courses. So that's where you're going to go, obviously, to get to your classes. So go ahead and click on courses on the left-hand side of the screen. And you should see a list of current courses that looks like this. These are resource classes. They're not anything that you don't have to do any work in them. You're not required to do anything. I have definitely heard from a few students logging in and panicking because they think that they're registered in 4 classes instead of the 1. These are just resources. So they're there if you need them, but you're not required to do anything in them. When your class is available, and again, you're not going to see it now, so don't worry about that. It should be here Sunday night at some point. I'm not really sure what time exactly, just some point in the evening. It's gonna usually it'll appear at the very top of the list so that you can just click on it. So it will say like intro to psychology or something like that right at the top. These resources are here for you for just some extra help. And then we also have tutors. And again, I mentioned earlier, I'm the writing studio coordinator, so I can work with you on your papers. We have math tutors, things like that. The Kaiser Writing Studio resource, Blackboard, has things on like citation format for APA, spelling and grammar resources, outlining and brainstorming and things like that that are going to help you in the writing process, as well as kind of a how to answer your questions on how you can get your paper reviewed, which basically you can either email it to me and then I'll review it, reach out to you and set up an appointment to discuss it, or you can come into campus as a drop-in, walk-in appointment, and we can go over it right at that time. But again, there, more details are available if you need them. If you're taking American literature, for example, this term, or English or psychology, any of these writing intensive courses, definitely feel free to reach out to me. I'm happy to help you. Same thing with math. If you're taking, a math class, the Math Resource Help Center is going to have resources for every subject. I think they have everything from basic math to like trigonometry and that kind of thing, as well as links to tutoring and how to access the tutoring both online and on campus, and what resources are available for you there. And then at the bottom, the student orientation course is basically a kind of a deep dive into Blackboard, how to access, different areas. It has a place where you can do like a practice discussion board post, practice assignments, practice quizzes and stuff like that to sort of get you familiarized with the format of Blackboard. I believe there's also like a lot of videos and things like that that you can watch as well. So on the next screen, I'm just going to show you a screenshot of if you click in the student orientation course, this is what you'll see specifically, but also in general, this is what all of your courses will look like. And the orientation classes just gives you a list of suggested activities that you can do to sort of help you get familiar with Blackboard, especially, if you want to do that over the weekend before you have access to your own class, if you want to do some of the practice activities to sort of familiarize yourself with the layout and functions and whatnot, you're definitely encouraged to do that. But yeah, so every class that you're in is going to look like this. On the main page, you've got the content, and then along the left-hand side, again, you have these modules, and each module that you click on is going to open up that module's content right here on the main screen. The modules are sort of grouped into sections where at the top here you have meet your instructor, your syllabus, Kaiser Live, which is like Zoom, but it's for your online classes, resources and that kind of thing. In the middle, you've got each of your weeks of the class, and this is where you're going to have all of your assignment requirements, resources, notes, discussion board prompts, things like that, that you need to actually complete the course, all the work that you're going to be doing. And then at the bottom, you have your grade book. So just kind of to take a closer look at some of these modules. Again, meet the instructor is, you've got your instructor's contact information, their biography, their photograph, they've got their schedule and that kind of thing. So office hours, best times to contact, all of that. So everything that you need to know about your instructor will be in that module. Your course syllabus is a really great thing for you to do on Sunday night when you first get access to the class, because you want to be sure to read the syllabus in full so that you don't miss anything. It's got policies for your class, such as what the policy is if you miss an assignment or if you have late work or if you can't make it to class one day or whatever the case may be, as well as policies for Kaiser itself. So it goes over the attendance policy, dress code policy, things like that. Additionally, you'll have your grade percentage breakdown. So it'll tell you like quizzes, are worth 10%, tests are worth 30%, whatever breakdown percentage wise of your course that the instructor has set up. That information will be in your syllabus, as well as an overview of the learning activities, tasks, objectives, and things that you're going to be covering in the course over the 4 weeks. And then Kaiser Live, as I mentioned before, it's basically similar to Zoom. And that's where if you're taking an online class, the days and times vary depending on what class you're taking, but you're usually going to meet on Kaiser Live once or twice a week to just have a class session. Your instructor will be on screen. They'll be able to share material with you and like PowerPoint lectures and things like that. And you'll have, I believe there's a chat option. There's breakout rooms and like whiteboards and that kind of thing, as well as you have the option to have your camera, mic, and raising your hand and all that stuff. So again, pretty similar to Zoom or Teams if you're, more used to Teams on Microsoft to just hold your class session. So the next little section of modules, again, this is where you're going to have each of your, each week has a module for your assignments that you're responsible for that week. And the way that it's set up is that everything that you need for the week is going to be in that module, so that once you're in there, you're just kind of working your way down the list. It'll have, like, for example, if you're in an English class, you might have a reading assignment, writing assignment, discussion board prompt, that kind of thing. And then also your instructors will usually include any resources that you need for that week. For example, a lot of the instructors will provide you a copy of their PowerPoint notes. So those would be in that week's folder. You might have links to like videos or extra resources, articles, things like that that are relevant to whatever it is that you're covering that week in the class. You'll also have links to if you have like a test that week, the test will usually be in there, unless you're doing it on on paper and pencil in the classroom. So yeah, so everything that you have for the week is going to be in that one module. Once the week is finished and you're moving on to week 2, then you would go into week 2's module. And again, everything will be in there that you need for the week, the assignments, the tests, resources, etc. So the way that it's set up, it's pretty streamlined. All you're doing is just going from one week to the next and kind of working your way down, and you don't have to jump around and kind of wander all over the place within Blackboard, trying to find where are my quizzes, where are my resources, things like that. It's all right there in that one module for you. And then towards the bottom, you have the grade book. I think these are a little out of order, sorry. The grade book, this is what the grade book looks like, where on the left-hand side, you have the assignment or the task description, student orientation assignment, survey, exam, whatever it is. It'll list either the specific due date if your instructor has put that in there. If not, if it's just an upcoming assignment, it'll show that as well. And then on the right-hand side of the grade book, you'll have how many points you earned out of how many possible points, usually 100. And additionally, if your instructor has any feedback for you, comments, questions, advice on, the topic or how to improve, maybe if you didn't do so well, that kind of thing, you'll see like a little chat icon next to your score, and you can click on that and see the instructor's feedback. You can organize your grade book, kind of however you prefer, last activity, due date, that kind of thing. And the grade book keeps a running total of your overall weighted grade in the class at all times, and it updates every time your instructor adds a grade. So in other words, say your grade in the class is like a 97, maybe you don't do so well on a test, and that goes in the grade book and it brings your grade down to like a 94. It'll reflect that right away as soon as that test grade is entered. So if you notice that your grade is a little bit lower than where you want it to be, then to reach out to your instructor, to tutoring, paper help, whatever the case may be. But you should know where you stand at all times in regards to your grade, so that the sooner you reach out for help, the better. You don't want to wait until the very end of the class when there's more to make up than you might be able to. So, so definitely, make sure that you're checking your grade book regularly as well, so that you're kind of on top of where you're supposed to be in the class and where you want to be in the class. And if not, that you can reach out to take the steps to get to that point. I'm going to go back just a couple of screens. And again, I'm going to send you a copy of this so you can kind of go over it in full. But these are just basically how to submit assignments on Blackboard. Most of the time you're going to be doing your assignment in like Word or Excel or PowerPoint or whatever the case may be. So this shows you how to upload and attach that assignment in Blackboard so that you can submit it. And then you also have how to use the discussion board, kind of the things you need to be aware of as far as like formatting, filling in, your title, subject, and that kind of thing, and how to submit discussion board posts. So, and again, you can go over those in more detail when you have the copy of this sent to you. But those are just the basics of, submitting your assignments. And that is pretty much it on Blackboard as far as, logging in and kind of how to navigate through Blackboard. If you've used Blackboard in the past, if you used it like at another school or something, it's pretty similar. The basic layout's very similar. There might be some specific institution-specific differences, but if you've never used Blackboard before, again, they've set it up to be pretty streamlined so that you can just kind of get into your course week and just work your way through the list. If you find that you are having trouble navigating it, you can't find things, if you are having trouble uploading assignments, whatever the case may be, we can definitely sit with you and kind of work with you one-on-one, at some point over the next week. So again, just make sure to reach out to either myself or Mr. Greco, our librarian, and his contact information will be at the end of this PowerPoint as well. So we can definitely take the time to sit with you and kind of go through it with you, in a lot more detail if you're having trouble. So definitely don't hesitate to reach out, if you're confused or coming up on new roadblocks. Any questions at this point about not just Blackboard, but the student email, student portal, anything that we have covered so far? Okay, so just a couple of announcements before we close out the session. A few miscellaneous things. You can get your textbook in the on-campus bookstore. They are open on the Saturday prior to the term start. So usually they're not open on Saturday, but this weekend they will be open on Saturday. I believe from like 9 to 3 or something like that. So you can get your book. Most of the time, the bookstore has all of the books in stock, even if the class is online. The manager specifically orders them prior to the term start. If your book isn't there for whatever reason, he can order it for you and then either ship it to your house, or if you're an on-campus student, you want to just pick it up on campus, you can have it delivered to the bookstore and you can just pick it up whenever it arrives and you're on campus. If you're paying for your books with financial aid, all you have to do is just give the bookstore manager your student ID number, and he will put that into the computer, match up your account, and then just automatically charge your books to your financial aid account. So you don't have to worry about anything extra that you need to fill out or whatever. It's done pretty quickly. And then if you haven't already, especially if you haven't been on campus yet this week or whatnot, you want to make sure that you go to the library to get your student photo ID. You have to have your ID at all times when you're on campus. If you lose your ID, we will replace it for you, and it's free. There's no charge, but you want to make sure to stop at the front desk and get a guest pass onto campus that day, and then you will go ahead and go to the library to get your replacement ID. But definitely have a student photo ID taken, when you get a chance next week or whenever it is that you're on campus, and make sure that you have that at all times when you are on campus. Okay, so there's a couple of questions that popped up in the chat. Let me scroll back a little bit. How will I know what book I'll need for my online class without seeing the syllabus? Excuse me. So your class, you can either call the bookstore and tell them what class you're registered for, and they can tell you what book you need, and if they have it. You can also go to the Kaiser bookstore online, and I don't have a screenshot of that, but let me go ahead and I'll pull that up in a couple of minutes and kind of walk you through getting in there, and it'll show you what the book is that you need for the term. So just hang tight for a couple of minutes on that. But yeah, so you can either call the bookstore or you can look it up on the bookstore website. Will you guys be sending an email on how to log into Blackboard? Yes. So this afternoon, it'll be between 4:30 and 5 o'clock. And it's at that point, because I want to make sure that what I do is run the list of registered students. So I want to make sure that even if you registered late today, that you're still on the email list. I will be sending you an email with several things in it. You're going to get a copy of this PowerPoint that walks you through the logging into email, portal, and Blackboard. You'll also get individual steps, like there's a PDF for here's how you log into email. There's a PDF for here's how you reset your Blackboard password, things like that. So that'll be in there. This orientation session is being recorded, so you'll get a link to that recording, which will be uploaded onto YouTube, and you'll get that link. We had our Strategies for Success workshop last night, and that was recorded. So we'll send you a copy of that recording, as well as the Strategies for Success guidebook. And I think there's an online or a guide to like online classes or something like that that will be included as well in case you're taking an online class. So yeah, so you're basically going to get like a big kind of bulk email of all of the things that you need to go through before Monday. It is a lot, so if you find yourself having trouble or whatnot, we're open tomorrow. I'm not here, but Mr. Greco in the library is, and he can help you as well. He is here, I think, from 9 to 5 on Saturday. And then you can also reach out to us on Monday or next week as well if you're having any trouble. But yes, you will get that between 4:30 and 5 o'clock today, and that's going to go to both your student email address as well as the as your personal email prior to the term. Okay, so this, okay, so what for an online class, is there a way your teacher will know you've attended the class online? So if you're taking an online class, the way that the attendance is taken is that Blackboard will log any assignments that you submit. So if you do a discussion board post on Monday, when you do log in and like do the pre-test, for example, that's how it shows the attendance. So it'll show that you have logged in and submitted work. It doesn't track if you just log in. It doesn't track how long you've been logged in for or what time of day or anything like that. It just tracks if you submit an assignment. So the way that you're going to reflect your attendance is to, you know, make sure that you're logging in and submitting work. For the online classes, I believe that everything is due at the end of the week. However, you do have discussion board posts that you're required to post on 3 separate days. And that will keep your attendance active throughout the week. So I believe you have to reply to the main prompt, whatever the prompt is, and then you reply to 2 classmates. So like if you do the main post on Wednesday, you would reply to 1 classmate on Thursday, and then another classmate maybe on Saturday. And then that way, you know, you're submitting posts and you're getting your attendance tracked that way. If you log in on Monday and then you don't submit anything again until Saturday, you know, it'll show that as well. You know, so again, the only way to track the attendance for online classes is if you submit an assignment. Any other questions? Let me make sure that I'm not missing anything. Let me try to scroll back. Okay, so I'm gonna go ahead and I believe this is the end of the PowerPoint. Okay, so this just says, yeah, on Friday today I'll be emailing you this stuff, and then Mr. Rico is the other person you can reach out to. Okay, I'm gonna go ahead and stop this share, and I'm gonna pull up the campus bookstore online real quick to show you how to access that to see what book you need. So just give me 1 second here. Okay, so when you're on kaiseruniversity.edu and you go to the students menu, underneath these main logins, you're going to see bookstore. So you're going to go ahead and click on that. It brings you to this screen. You have to scroll down a little bit and you want to make sure, don't click on university bookstore because I think that'll take you to where you can buy like sweaters and stuff like that. You want to click on textbooks and course material. So that would open in a new tab. And then, so right away on the main page here is where you're going to enter your class information. So you would select undergraduate program, unless you're, you know, doing a postgrad degree. And you're gonna choose the term that's starting on Monday. Our fall C term is starting, so you wanna make sure to select that. Who was it that asked the question? Was that Satina? Can you let me know what class you are registered for, if you know offhand? You can try to look up your class.
It's the anatomy and physiology one.
Okay. All right, so where it says select department and course, that's where you're going to put the course code for anatomy and physiology. I think that's BSc 1000 or something like that. So you would select BSc here, and then the course suffix would be where you would put, oh, here it is, 2085C, I think is the first one. And then all sections. And then you're going to find materials for one course. And then this will show you what book that you need. So it gives you the edition, the ISBN number, and then if there's a rental option for that book, it'll show you that. Otherwise, it'll just have you buy it new. And then sometimes for some of the classes, you can buy the book like on Amazon or something like that. But for other classes, you can't do that because each book comes with like an access code because you have like online labs or something like that that you need. So like this one says with Connect access code. So it does look like you have to buy this book, you know, through Kaiser or from the publisher, either rent it or buy it new. But yeah, so that's the required material for that course. And then if you ever need to find a different course, you can just go through the same thing and just, you know, whatever the new course is, it'll show you what's required. And then if the instructor indicates any recommended books, I believe it'll show you that as well.
Thank you.
No problem. Samantha, how do I get my Kaiser University email and password? Your admissions counselor most likely gave you a schedule and it should be at the top of that schedule. I can also private message it to you in just a minute here so that you have that. Let's see. While I look that up really quick, is there any other questions that I can answer for you guys? Just go ahead and put it in the chat. Samantha, are you registered for your master's program? Just want to make sure I have the right student. Okay, so just bear with me for a couple of minutes while I send that information to you, Samantha, and Caitlin. I got yours as well. In the meantime, if anyone else has any questions, just go ahead and put those in the chat and let me know. Okay, so I just sent you Samantha and Caitlin. I just sent you that information privately. And then if there are no other questions, then we'll go ahead and close this out. If you think of any questions later on, please definitely reach out. I'll be, like I said, I'll be emailing you this afternoon with those materials, and you can just reply to my email. Mr. Greco's email information will also be in there. So if something comes up tomorrow, again, he'll be here all day, and he can answer your questions as well. So if there's no other questions, then thanks so much for coming. Welcome to Kaiser. We're definitely, here to help you. We want to see you succeed. So please don't hesitate to reach out if you need any help. And we're happy to have you, and we look forward to seeing you next week. So have a great rest of your day.